Hello, everyone. Hey, is it age? It's me, Frank Sivero. Good day. It's the beginning of the week. I heard the nominations for the Oscar. Being a member of the actors branch of the Oscars, I'm a voter, and actors vote for the nominations for their peers, other actors, and best film. And then once the nominations come out, you vote for everybody. Best picture, costumes, director, writer. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I loved all the performances and the nominees. There were more great actors out there that should have been uncut gems. Adam Sandler should have been nominated. I thought he was great. He was completely out of the zone on his character. He was playing a character that was so incredible, non-stop, and very difficult that I think he should have been definitely in the mix, of the nominations. But the people that got nominated, of course, the Joker and Joaquin Phoenix, he's incredible in it, and you have all the rest of the other actors, you know, uh, that are nominated for best, seen all the films. And I thought, I mean, I like Bombshell. Charlize Theron she's incredible, and also I can't think of her name right now, but anyway, she was also great. They were all great, the female leads and co-leads. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's a great movie. I remember that era. I was there. I was there during that period. I mean, I was a young teenager, living in Hollywood in 1969, and I remember those streets very well. I actually ended up going to that street where the movie ended, Cielo Drive. I had some crazy friends that wanted to go up there, and I took them. This is before they actually captured the Sharon Tate murders. There was still, search. So we went up there. Very, very narrow drive road. I remember very clear in Bel Air. And anyway, we got up there, and there were a couple of Doberman big dogs, behind the gate. And I told the guys, I said, we better get out of here. I know we're being watched because they haven't caught anybody yet, So, but I do remember, I was Hollywood. I was doing some plays, in North Hollywood with a repertory company, which had incredible talent. Anne Duran, who played the mother in Rebel Without a Cause to James Dean. I did a couple of plays with her. M.B. Davis, she was in the Brady Bunch, a housekeeper. I did plays with all kinds of people in those days, and I met a lot of people. And I was on a set, on the lot of Paramount Studio, Columbia Studios, where a lot of these westerns, a lot of these. I remember Mission Impossible. I was good friends with Gail Fisher, may her soul rest in peace. She was on Mannix, and Bonanza was a big thing. They had a backdrop in Paramount and also CBS, and they had a ranch where they used to shoot some of the other stuff. I'm trying to think of all the series that were going on in those days. There was so much happening. I mean, Sunset Strip was Whiskey Go Go was happening. I saw actually Chicago there in 1969. The Troubadour, which was on Santa Monica next to Dentana's, was the club where the elite singers used to sing. Um, usually they used to get. It was like the comedy club. You got started there, and you got this. Pretty much you went on to become a star. And right next door was Dentana's. It's a place that I used to go and eat, and we're still around anyway. And I do remember, of course, Sunset Strip, and Dino's place, it was an after hour place, the Playboy After Club, After Hour, whatever it was called, La Cienega Boulevard. There were so many, that used to be called Restaurant Road on La Cienega. There was a place called Bobby Allen's place. I used to hang out and have I had a fake ID, so to get into some of these places, you had to be 21. So, but anyway, I remember Farmers Market actually. I upped a friend of mine, and then finally I ran out of there. There was a lot of oil underneath there. An elderly lady owned the property. She didn't want to sell it. They wanted to buy, put apartments in there or whatever. And she never sold it. You know, and obviously now they have the Grove, which is a big, big, big place, mall. Closed mall. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I remember Sunset Strip very well. All the way up, took you to the Pacific. All the way to Sunset, Pacific Coast Highway, to Malibu. You know, and I mean, those days there was very little traffic. Gasoline was 23 cents, 25 cents a gallon. You filled up the tank for a couple of the bucks in those days. You could buy a caddy for 7,000, actually 6,000. Mercedes for 7, 8,000. You know, and but they're gone. But anyway, getting back to the Oscars, yeah, the performances. I mean, these are big movies. They were all incredible. You got incredible directors with visions. When you break it down, that the talent is also very important. It's very important to understand who you're playing and have a communication with the director and understand the director's image, where he wants to go. Because, the director has an overall image of the painting. You pretty much take the puzzle apart and then you begin to, when you fill in the actors in there and you begin to, and every scene has its time, moment, and whatever's going on, and it's interested, and it's very important to have that kind of communication with the director to understand, to get you there, and then for you to, do and what you have to do in the scene and be in the moment. I mean, Scorsese does that with certain actors. Sometimes certain actors, he just leaves them alone and improvise, and gives them a free range because of the physicality, and it doesn't mean they know what to do, and because when you got the professional actor responding back, and the professional actor knows how to improvise, sometimes the non-professional actor with the physicality doesn't really understand what's going on in the moment and why certain things are said, and it doesn't know how to respond because it doesn't know if it's personal, if it's really happening, or it's you know kind of in the moment, or if it's an insult. Depends on the situation. That's why I'm very kind of using people that not really experience. It's like having a special surgeon who operates on your heart. You want somebody that understands, every instrument, every organ, every muscle, everything. And the same thing with acting. It's very important. But we lost that. There's a lot of physicality. Right after Goodfellas, everybody makes a big thing about all these gangster movies. Without Goodfellas, there wouldn't be all these gangster or stories about mobsters and rats and all that stuff. The Godfather said it, and then many years later, of course, Goodfellas, and then after Goodfellas, it kind of opens the flood. It opened up all the floods were for the non-actors to get involved, and all of a sudden they call themselves actors. What I really know, yeah, you got coaches that give you crash course, but still you don't. You can't really call yourself an actor until you get on that stage to do a live performance. It's like playing an instrument. How do you play an instrument if you don't know how to play it? Or sing if you don't have a voice? I don't. I don't know how to play an instrument. I could learn, as an actor. I'm a trained, well-trained actor, by Lee Strasberg from the Actor Studio, and many other teachers. I did it for 7 years, and I did a lot of plays. So I'm not knocking the unknown actor or the actor that didn't study. I just hope that some of these actors really go on and take lessons. I don't know who's out there anymore as far as teaching the craft, the method, the Sunday Miser, which is technique. A lot of actors use that. The method is more mentally and physically to get into the role, understand it, and get all the information, and then become physically and execute it in front of the camera. It's not easy when you got so many people and so many things going on. So getting back to the nominations, yeah, they were very well deserving. I thought Jennifer Lopez was fantastic in The Hustler. She should have been nominated. In the supporting character role. It's not easy to be who you are. Of course, you bring certain personal experience, like I do. In every role I play, obviously I've played different roles besides gangsters. That I still have certain personal experience that I, you know, study. Even when I don't work, I educate myself. That goes into medicine. That goes into law. That goes into anything that perhaps I might be called upon to be someone. And I understand all that, even that I might have some experience, you know, with the outside world. So I mean, listen, I grew up in Brooklyn. I grew up in the rough streets. So, when you look at The Irishman is a great movie. I mean, incredible actors. They did what they had to do. Marty kind of stepped out of the way. He used actors, to try to make it look. Of course, the technology is completely different. But Marty is the type of director, like I said, I keep saying Marty Scorsese, who I worked, several times. And I should have worked many, many other times before, but who knows, politics involved, so. And Robert De Niro, I know how to handle all that stuff. And he had enough confidence for me to execute like I did in Goodfellas. I improvised everything. He never gave me a word. There was never a line written. If something was written, it was afterwards, after I said it. And I kind of set the stage in Goodfellas about some of the words like "forget about it." You didn't the way I said it. Instead of Henry, I say Henry. That's me. You know what I mean? That's the way I spoke. That's where I growing up in the neighborhood. I did. There's certain language. I remember. English was not my first language. Italian, Sicilian was my first. And of course, I had to study very hard, try to get rid of the accent. I did in my early stages of my career when I was studying. I did a lot of plays, and I remember one time people that really didn't know where I was from. I had completely a language, clear English language with no accent, no Brooklyn accent. It began when I did New York, New York with Robert De Niro and Scorsese director and Liza Minnelli. That I was playing in New York, and I kind of went back to the streets of me over there, over here, everything. And then in Goodfellas, I did what I had to do, because there we had our own language. And I was able to bring in, and I'm sure the other actors picked it up for me. I know they did. And as far as the humor, it was the dark humor that I brought into the movie. I discussed it many times. I don't get the credit, but without me, it becomes really a gruesome movie, a gangster movie, and violent. But I brought in something that I knew was gonna, in my mind, I had a certain, I had a discussion with Marty, but I never really got into details about. He saw what happened on the first day of filming, and regardless of even that it was not the first scene, it was somewhere in the movie where actually it was the scene with Samuel Jackson where he gets killed, the coffee pot scene. That was all improvised, and Pesci picked up on me. I remember I'm saying Henry, and when I say Henry, he says, "Yeah, what about Henry? Did you know him?" I said, "Well, he lived a block away from me. I didn't know him that well, of course. The family used to come to my pizzeria on Crescent and Sutter in East New York in Brooklyn, and a couple of blocks up there was another pizza place that the character that Paul Sorvino play had a pizzeria, and then you went 2 more blocks up. There was the cab stand there, and that's where they used to hang out. A lot of them, Dumont Avenue in Brooklyn. It was like on a borderline. It's called City Line. If you crossed over the street, there was a line that gave you, and then you took you to the City Line, and you were still, almost 3 blocks away from Queens, Ozone Park. Getting back to the nominations, being a member of the Actors Branch of the Academy, I think the movies are very well deserved, and there were some movies that should have been definitely up there. These are big epics. 1917 is a big movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a big movie. The Irishman is a big movie. there's a lot of characters. There's a lot of things going on. Um, the supporting actors, yeah, I mean, I respect all of them. I mean, to me, I'm not going to tell you which way I voted and how I'm going to vote because that's something that I won't. But yeah, I like the performances. Of course, Pacino's performance was a little more difficult than others. Some other performances were, they were great. But you still, there was something about Pacino's performance, and I'm not saying that I'm leaning towards that way for Best Supporting Actor. He's very well deserved, and the rest of them are also. The actresses, Renee Zellweger was fantastic. I know the rest of them who were nominated were great, and there should have been others. But what are you going to do? It's a little different today. You know, it's another world. It's another world. The Academy, all these award shows. There's so many of them. So many awards are given away. But getting back to the process, I'm a little saddened about some of these people that were not, unfortunately nominated. They deserve because it's hard work. It's like any player in baseball, football. You want to be honored. You're special. When you do a special role, you want to be honored and you want to be recognized to the world that you could do other things besides so-called the normal. But getting back to acting, acting is a very, very, very difficult. 99.9 people really don't understand how to approach it, how to get into. It's not about the physicality. That's how you arrive, mentally and physically, and then the exterior comes along. The Joker is an incredible movie to me. What he did, all the different body movements, personalities. It's not easy, but when you got great directors that work with you, you could do all that stuff. So, anyway, listen, I congratulate all the nominees, and I'm sorry about people that didn't get nominated and being part of the group. Uh, Again, we vote, actors vote for actors and Best Picture. And then the whole zoo kind of votes for the final, for the Oscars. So everybody votes for everybody. It changes because you have all the different branches, voting. They get to vote for actors, director, all that stuff, Best Picture, short, documentary. There's so many categories. It's incredible. Wow. All right, listen now. Everybody have a good day, and I wish everybody, all the nominees, best of luck at February 9th. And I'll be watching. I'll be voting also before for my final vote. I wish everybody a good day, a good afternoon, and good evening. I am Frank Sivero. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.